Frontier remains silent on any news regarding any aspects of Elite Dangerous, and I personally think it's because they are facing quite the dilemma. Allow me to explain. So today's video is just going to be a talking head video, and also it's going to be purely my own thoughts and speculations, so you may agree, you may not agree with some of my point of view in this video, but if you do or if you don't, do let me know in the comment section below. Now, since before Christmas 2021, Frontier has been mostly silent on anything regarding the future of Elite Dangerous, Odyssey, the console launch, well, anything at all. We haven't heard a lot. There was a single community post where they said, yeah, we know that we haven't done any kind of communication at all. We're working on something behind the scenes. The usual kick the can down the road kind of message that we get from Frontier when they don't know what to say. However, I think the reason for all this silence has to do with the fact that they are facing quite a big dilemma regarding the console launch. I think that internally Frontier had a deadline that said after New Year's, the new year between 2021 and 2022, they were going to make a decision on what's going to happen with console. They were going to spend, since what to come out May, Odyssey originally, and up until the end of the year to try and optimize it, and then they're going to just make a decision here. That time has now come and passed, and I think the dilemma they have now is, what are they going to do? See, the issue as I see it is, I do not see Odyssey running on last generation consoles. I mean, we are 10 updates down the road now, and while Frontier has done some amazing work optimizing the game, conflict zones and settlements are just still too resource demanding to run on last generation consoles. And Frontier did, originally during the launch of Odyssey, say that Odyssey would come out on consoles for last generation, and there wouldn't be a native version for the current generation, but they would still be able to play it due to backwards compatibility. If they're in a situation now where they can't get it to run on those consoles at acceptable frame rates, then what do? Now, I'll be looking into some numbers to try and figure out what it is that's holding them back from just getting to work on it and get it ported over. First, I wanted to try and figure out how big part of the Elite Dangerous community is playing on console today. Now, I couldn't find any official numbers, but I've been looking on like how many people on my Discord server has signed up for the PC side, has signed up for Xbox and PlayStation side, and been looking at what other people have in terms of numbers for what platform they play on. And to the best of my ability, the best guesstimate I can come with is that about 20% of the Elite community is playing on console, with an even split between Xbox and PlayStation. So we have 20% playing on console. The next question that's interesting to ask is, how many is playing last gen and how many is playing current gen? Because with that, we can kind of get a guess for how many people are Frontier sacrificing if they do not do a console release. There's no numbers on this for Elite Dangerous, so I had to resort to looking at other games. There are sites out there that track how many active players there are per platform for some of the consoles. So I had to go and look at other games that were playable on both last gen, current gen, and see the player numbers on those. And from that, I got about 1/5 of console players seems to be playing on the newest current generation console, and about 4/5, so 80%, is playing on last generation console. So as you can see now, a pattern begins to emerge. If we accept my guess that Frontier is not going to be able to get Odyssey running on last generation consoles, here's the dilemma that they're facing right now. They can either go out and say console is only going to get Odyssey on current gen, so no Odyssey for last gen. If they do that, they have to spend the time and effort it takes to convert Odyssey over or port it over to console, and that's going to be for about 4% of the community. Remember, 20% is console, and of those, about 20%, 1/5, is playing on the current generation. That's 4%. Now, I'm not a game developer. I don't know how much work it is to port a game from PC over to consoles. I would assume it's not a small amount of work. So, are they going to spend that much time and effort to port it over for what is potentially 4% of the total community? I'm not sure. regardless, it would mean that they would throw the remainder 16% under the bus, as they would basically sunset the game on last generation consoles. The other option, of course, is not launch on console at all. In that case, they're just going to completely sunset it on all consoles and not do anything at all. And those are the two options I see Frontier have. Neither are very good options, but that's the way I see it right now. I personally don't think we're going to see Odyssey on last generation consoles. What does this mean for last generation? I mean, surely they're still going to be able to play Horizons, and there might still be some updates. The main problem is, of course, this upgrade to the graphic engine. And imagine this situation. Frontier wants to make a new ship, or a new paint job, or anything visual in the game. If they're trying to keep the last generation console running on the old graphic engine, in that case, they would have to shade everything twice. They can use the 3D meshes for a potential new ship, but all the coloring, all the texturing on the ship, all the which part are glossy, which part is rough, all those things will have to be done twice. And that's double work. And same with paint jobs. If they want to make any money from new paint jobs, it will have to be done twice. They're basically doubling up their work by trying to keep two different versions of the graphics running at the same time. And therefore, I think while they will absolutely keep the game running on Horizons, and people can still play on the old graphic engine, remember they did say that one of the things they wanted to do eventually down the road was to get Horizon players over on the new graphic engine as well. Frontier's absolutely planning to sunset the graphic engine we're currently using in Horizons and use the new one, so they only have to maintain one set of textures and not two. But of course they can't do that with last generation consoles because they cannot play it. Personally, I don't know what I would do if I were in Frontier's shoes. I mean, I think this is also why they have been so silent, and that's because they know that every time they do a live stream, every time they do a forum post, every time they do any kind of communication, the comment sections, the chats, it's always filled with people, understandably so, asking what's going on with console. And I think they just realized they can't just keep silent and just ignore console at all. So the solution was to just ignore everybody, so at least everybody's treated equal. I think it's a bit of a messy situation. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Frontier's gonna pull through and find a way to get Odyssey launched on last generation consoles. But my hopes are very, very low for it. Don't think it's going to happen. Current gen may happen. Last gen, I don't think so. But at this point, I just wish Frontier would come out and give us the news regardless of how bad it is. I mean, the longer they wait, the less confidence I think the community have in them. And with this complete silence from them, I think a lot of players, myself included, is beginning to think, is Elite Dangerous at all gonna be continuing in the distant future? Are Frontier now considering whether it is actually worth it to keep pouring time and effort into Elite? Because they already lost a large portion of the player community due to the failed launch of Odyssey. And if they're now looking into potentially losing another 20% of the remainder of the community, Elite's going to be a very, very small player base after that. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I hope we're going to get some real news out of Frontier very soon, because this is getting very, very worrying if you ask me. Now, I know this video has been a little bit doom and gloom, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Again, I would really like to hear your point of view in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, hopefully, I'll see you guys in space.